practice. The one key on the life preserver units we give you is you cannot inflate those life preserver units inside the airplane. Because if you do, you can't get out the hatch on the top of the airplane. We each carry a knife to make sure that we can get out if we're behind you. You will be out there with deflated life preserver units because you cannot become the cork plugging up the hole. So like I said, the key is, and we'll show you again, we'll do the stewardess number. Here's your exit left, right, here's how you do this, yeah, lights and that kind of stuff. So we'll show you all that.
As long as I got a bag to carry around with me, I'll be happy.
Okay, well, we'll show you that. Since I flew with the, as I call them, the Jamaican bobsled team about 2 weeks ago, two boys from Jamaica decided to come fly with us, and one had a problem with air sickness. He also had a problem with pride. He didn't want to tell anybody he was air sick until he just made an absolute horrendous mess over the back of the airplane, and Mr. Day happened to be on board with me. Starting his lunch, he says, "Sorry, I'm eating lunch. I can't come help." And I did. He bailed out on me. So if you get to feeling bad, please let me know. All crew members do that.
I'm letting you know right now.
All crew members do that at some point in their career. It's just, I shouldn't have eaten that whole greasy hog for breakfast or whatever it happened to be. But if you are feeling queasy at any point, and we'll make sure there's plenty of air sick bags around. For you, we got this big 55.
That's what I need.
It's a body bag. We just tie it around your ankles and you'll be okay.
That's great. That's exactly what I need, sir.
But we'll make sure that you get taken care of like that. If you do get to feeling bad, let us know, and what we'll do is lay you down. Believe it or not, that helps a tremendous amount. We'll find some place to get you horizontal and running with the longitude of the airplane. And you may be able to handle it the whole flight just laying there, and that'll be fine too. We don't mind that at all. Let's see, what else? What else am I missing, Steve? Interphone use. If I know you've got a headset, and I know Mike's probably briefed you about all these horrible things you got to monitor these guys and this, that, and the other. We're a little more flexible than the media Gestapo.
Yes, sir.
We have an extra headset or so, and what we actually prefer is that when we put guys up on headset, the media, you guys want to be plugged in too. That way you can monitor what's going on. The Teal 27 is our call sign. We'll be talking to foreign air traffic controllers. It's difficult to understand sometimes with their English, but you're listening for Teal 27. If you hear Teal 27 on the radio, you want to make sure that you stop talking. If you're in mid-sentence, do not finish your sentence. Just simply stop right there so we'll be able to hear what the controller is telling us and be able to respond back properly. Okay? I think that pretty well covers it. We're going to have a station time at 7 o'clock, which means I need you guys out at the airplane by that time and in your seats. If y'all want to go out earlier, especially you guys, feel free to come on out with us. You can follow the crew around. You can sit and twiddle your thumbs, whatever you want to do. We're more than open to whatever you guys want. Steve and I will be out at the airplane getting it ready, means turning on lights, just doing a walkthrough on the airplane, making sure everything's good, and then doing our weight and balance.
Do have a couple questions for you, sir. First question, they would like to film the startup of the engines.
That can be done.
I understand that there's a process for that.
Right.
Great. If we can work that, that would be most helpful to us.
Sure. The way, let me address that while we're right here. Whatever you've got with you, make sure you don't have any hats that are loose. Make sure that you guys are dressed appropriately. You don't have anything to blow off or anything like that. Your sunglasses, you got to be careful with those. Those are some pretty big fans out there, and they can suck them right off your head. So you want to be careful with any loose object that we don't lose it. Because the last thing that we will want to do is say, sunglasses blew through the engine, sir. We got to stop the mission. That's not what we want to do.
Thought at the engine was just...
That's right.
That's
Okay.
a guess.
Next question now.
I think those are really my only questions
Okay.
at this time. I'm sure I'll have more as the day goes on.
Okay.
But right now, I think we're good to go, as long as you're...
Not a problem. You'll find that we're probably a little more flexible than you used to dealing with on active duty.
Yes, sir.
We take our job very seriously, but we're real flexible when we do it. We try to maintain a certain amount of decorum
Yes, sir.
on the airplane, but you'll hear a lot of first names out there because that's just the way. You can't fly into hurricanes with guys and still call them Colonel so-and-so generally. We do offer that sort of respect, obviously, to our group commander and that kind of thing. But just for the guys around here, as you saw the banter running back and forth here, you'll see a lot of flexibility there. So feel free to call Steve, or me, Robert, or General, or
Be a
whatever you
little
want to
more
call
diffi-
me.
It'll be a little more difficult for us, but
Sure.
he's also a reservist.
Okay.
I'm stationed at Eglin.
Oh, are you? Okay. Well, super.
I was a dude there.
That's
If
where
they
I-
want
that's
to do
where I'm
interviews
stationed.
later on
Sure.
during the flight, do we
I tell
just
you,
contact
I'm a-
you?
Right.
Missions
Yeah,
out
we'll
there.
get that
Saturday, I
arranged
think
because
I've
we'll
ever
need to make
experienced.
sure
I've been
what
out there
stage
for
of the
about 10
flight
years.
we're in. Obviously, this is a very
I miss
powerful
it.
storm. When we do make that eye wall penetration, that is the most, generally the most bumpy part of the ride. So we'll make sure that everybody is strapped down. We do have some big windows on the side of the airplane there, and you guys should be able to do some filming if you want out those side windows and get a pretty good shot of the eye as we break in. Like I say, other than that, it's going to be all rain and just, you know, walks off, as we call it. It's just so many clouds you can't see anything, but then you break into the eye. It should be a good view of what an eye of a storm actually looks like with this one. Okay?
Marty's good guy.
I'll leave it up to these gentlemen what they want to do from
Travis
here.
needed it bad, and,
We definitely want to. Well, tell me at what stage the hurricane is at right now, as far as a class.
It's a category 5. It's the most powerful that you can get. Once you get to 155 miles an hour, then it becomes a category 5 storm. And that's essentially means anything that's not a concrete building is in danger of not being there when it gets done. And even those are in danger if they happen to be along the coastline. Storm of this magnitude, when we give sustained winds of 160 or 180 miles an hour, does not mean there aren't gusts that are even higher than that. So it's possible that you could see something on, like yesterday when they were calling it 180 miles an hour. The guys were actually seeing gusts that were much higher than that. So right now, this is just a sustained, and now whether or not it will be sustained at 180 time we get there, I do not know the answer to that. It could be diminishing. We used to have a director of the National Hurricane Center used to describe it this way: when you see an ice skater spinning around and they pull their arms in, they really get going fast, but they can't hold it forever. Pretty soon their arms are going to come back out and they're going to slow back down. Well, that's essentially what a storm will do on you sometimes. When one's wrapped up as tight and as small as this one is, it just can't sustain that motion forever. And what we've seen is a little diminishing. It doesn't mean it won't spin up again. Just like the ballerina or whatever can spin back up, this one could possibly do the same. But at this moment, our job isn't to forecast that. Our job is to go out and observe, basically take the temperature. If you want to look at it like a triage nurse, our job is to go out and take the temperature and the blood pressure of this thing. We call it sea level pressure. With knowing the temperature and the sea level pressure, we have a clue on the status of the patient out there. And so that's what our job is to do. We'll also do a wind field, what we call a mass wind field check. Essentially what we're doing is seeing how far out, and you've heard it on the Weather Channel, hurricane force winds only extend out this far, tropical storm force winds extend out this far. Those are very important for coastal areas because they determine the storm surge. Okay? So that's one of the jobs that we'll do. We'll go out and check and see how far away from the eye of the storm we're going to lose the hurricane force winds and the tropical storm force winds, get down to gale force, if you will, around 35 knots. That's very important, again, for coastal communities, so that we predict you're going to get an 8-foot storm surge or a 4-foot storm surge or whatever it happens to be. Okay? Well,
I think that's about it. I'll let you get back to your job.
okay.
Thank you, sir.
Taking out on special occasions.
We're going to show them the biggest storm there
This
is.
is the biggest storm in October ever, so he ought to ride with us.
This is one of the biggest storms in quite a while, isn't it?
It is. It's the 4th largest ever to form in the Atlantic Basin.
Wow.
This is our control.
What's the stuff across?
Yeah, that's what I say. You gotta.
How many of these aircraft y'all got?
We have a total of 10 of them.
10.
It looks like you're going on a vacation. Got 2 cases. Gotta take it down. Very good. This is our ops group commander. This was his first hurricane flight. He's been here, what, about 4 months now?
Yeah.
So what'd you think?
It's a routine flight. Guys knew what they were doing. And
That's what he's telling his wife anyway, so she'll let
that's
him
right.
do it again.
Yeah, it was good. Have a good one.
Okay.
What guys have is convincing their wives that it's okay to go do this.
We can relate to that.
I can imagine that this is our aircraft. We're flying on the 963. These are all, these are 1965 model airplanes. So where were you in 65? Don't answer that.
Being born.
I was in a crib somewhere.
That's right. You had fun? Yep. Yeah, this is a 65 model. Now then, let me give you a few safety features of the airplane. The big fans on the front will hurt you. Don't get anywhere near those big fans.